Okay, here we go. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another Brony Debates Live. I hope you're all doing well out there. So, we've got an interesting conversation tonight. So, DJ here wanted to talk about video games that could have been put out by Hasbro. Because the only video game that we really got were mobile games. In fact, I'm pretty sure there was only the one mobile game, the Game Loft game. But we did have games in the Brony fandom that fans had made, such as Fighting is Magic, which then became Them's Fighting Herds. There's Ambient White coming out. I actually have one tabbed on my laptop that I haven't checked out yet. There was a Story of the Blanks, but we've got a few of those games. So in order to talk about games, because I know nothing about video games, I brought on some of the biggest gamers I know. And they're here with me tonight. But first, let's say hello to the gentleman who suggested tonight's topic, Mr. DJ. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm here. I'm here for a rough week, but it's...
Well, we're gonna... Yeah, I'm sorry you've had a rough week. I know about it. I don't know if you want me talking about it, but I'll just say, it gets better from here on out. Additionally, we've got a few people returning. Some of our special guests, Mr. Chucklyfun. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm having fun. It's been a little bit since I've been on one of these, but I love talking about games. I love talking with you guys. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I don't know many people that play more video games than Chucklyfun. So if anybody can give us some good insight from a player standpoint, it would be Chuckly. But we do have some game developers on here tonight, as well as our returning guest, Zeus, who worked on My Little Investigations. How are you doing tonight, Zeus?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to be back on the show and ready to talk some games.
Yep. And we have an actual career game developer joining us. Now, Harlock has been on Friday Night Fights a couple of times, at least once I remember. But I think this is your first time coming on Brony Debates. How are you doing tonight, Harlock?
I'm doing great.
Nice.
Don't forget that I also worked on a fan game. But.
Yes, and I was actually, that was going to be the next thing out of my mouth. You were developing pretty much as a one-man team for as long as you could. What was it? I'm sorry, I'm not blanking on purpose. It was Super Smash Ponies. It was just
but it wasn't a one-man team.
Okay.
That's for sure. It was like a 4 or 5 man team, but
well, I don't think I could do a game on 4 or 5 on a 4 or 5 team. Just making Brony Debates by itself has gotten up to like 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those 6 people is also returning to the show tonight, Mr. Invisibrony, who voiced Whole Grain in the last 2 episodes of A Buck to the Face. How are you doing tonight?
How dare you ask me that, there you wee whippersnapper?
Alrighty then. I guess I'm back at boot camp. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right today. How are you folks?
We're doing pretty good by the sound of it. So, DJ, tell us why you wanted to talk about this tonight. So I've already kind of broken down the what, but give us the why before I go on to my Patreon responsibilities.
How many cease and desist letters did you get?
Well, my whole thing has always been playing video games. So I always love it when there's tie-in games to my favorite shows. I mean, for a long time you had movies and TV shows doing video games, like the Spider-Man movies made some of the best video games, specifically Spider-Man 2. But it's become kind of a lost trend nowadays with mobile games kind of taking that up. There is the Game Loft pony game that exists, which is one of the biggest gotchas out there for the fandom. And I remember there was a second one that came out, I think, a couple years ago that didn't hit quite as big. It's called Pocket Ponies. I'm pretty sure that's official.
Was that like a Pokemon pony clone?
No, I think it was close. I didn't really put any time into it. It was like kind of close to Candy Crush, I think.
Oh, okay.
There is a separate Pokemon-style pony clone that I have a friend working on.
Oh, really?
That is not officially licensed. It just uses like, hey, these characters kind of remind you of the official ones.
It's Ponymon Go, kind of.
Legendary
But
Princess Celestia raid.
Yeah.
Everyone would flock to Luna instead.
Yes, because everyone is wrong. Now then, before we get into the real nitty-gritty, especially since I just threw that grenade out into there, I got to give a big shout-out to all of my very generous supporters on Patreon, a couple of which are in this call with us tonight, especially at the $10 and up tier. These guys make content creation a lot easier for me and make it easier to pay my bills. And in return, I do anything I can for them, including letting them come onto my show. So if you would like to be on the show, I'd love to have you. We just need to get you on the Patreon server for as little as $1 a month. Now, the people on the $10 and up tier is our friend here, Mr. DJ Skywalker, as well as Princess Heather Blossom, Shady Oak Ministries, Sid McConroy, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Sodden, Girder, Senko, Jennan, Kellogg, Kyle Christensen, Stephen A. Wilson, Erick, Rein-Kun, Princess Sunshine Sparkle, Bootleg Bard, and the Equestrian City Hero series. Be sure to check out everybody's links in the description, as well as the links to all of my guests on the show tonight. They make some pretty good stuff. Now then, so let's start with DJ. DJ, what kind of games would you have liked to be seen released, let's say on console? Any kind of console, or maybe even Steam, by Hasbro, or at least, commission funded by Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
So start us off and we'll take it from there.
There's two different types of games I would love to see. The biggest one I think that probably would have worked would have been an RPG.
Okay, why so?
Simply because Hasbro ended up making Tales of Equestria the tabletop version.
Mm-hmm.
I think making a video game equivalent to that would have taken off big, especially if they kept the character creation system.
Oh, 100%. And they actually, if you ever played it, somebody did do a non-official Final Fantasy port of a I forget what it was called. It's like Friendship is Magic, but it was basically like Final Fantasy 3 but with ponies.
Mm.
Yeah, I was thinking more on
I know what you're talking about. It was really good.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, DJ?
I was thinking more along like a 3D version instead of a 2D pixel one.
So,
maybe something like Final Fantasy 15 or something.
So more in the when I hear 3D, I hear I think Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that? Would an RPG work? Now, are you talking like a Western RPG or a Japanese style RPG? And where's the line between the two of them?
Well, now, if Disney picked it up, it could be Crystal Kingdom Hearts.
If Disney picked it up, it would be horrible.
No, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the difference between a Western RPG and a Japanese one, really. I don't know what sets them apart other than being made in different countries.
Chucklyfun, would you like to field that question?
The answer is quality.
The big difference is a battle system. JRPGs typically jump into a special mode and for doing your battle, and you basically, depending on the game, put in commands and have like a lot of math and a lot of special attacks, and sometimes you can move around, but usually the characters stick in place.
But you generally have input.
Yeah, like you're actually selecting an attack, using that attack. Western RPGs are a bit more varied, so like JRPG is a genre within general RPGs, and Western RPGs have tried a little bit of everything, so it's harder to nail down. A lot of Western RPGs include just one character, or maybe have like a couple side characters that rotate in and out. A lot of Western RPGs focus heavily on dialogue options and changing the story in tiny bits or changing individual stories in tiny bits. lot of Western RPGs are maybe like action RPGs where you're kind of like fighting hordes of enemies and going for loot, or you have like a party of characters and it's essentially a tactics game, which they have those in Japanese too, but they're considered a separate genre. So basically with the JRPG idea, you go into a battle, you have your guys on one side and their guys on the other, and you do individual attacks, and something determines, like, you usually only have one guy attack at once.
Okay. That gives two ideas. One I think the most logical would probably be is the turn-based system from early Final Fantasy games would probably be more appropriate since it would be aimed at a younger audience. But for something like I would probably appreciate more would probably be something closer to what I've heard about what is it? I just had it. Fire Emblem.
Okay, so somebody explained Fire Emblem to me in under 2 sentences. Or in 3 sentences or less, is what I should have said. Because I don't know I don't know anything about that game.
Should I go here?
And I guess anyone who's played the most Fire Emblem? That's probably Chuckly.
That's probably Chuckly, yeah.
Okay. Fire Emblem is a tactics game where you have a level, and tactics means that your characters move around on a grid, and you have a formation of characters, and you try to use your formation to execute special attacks against the opponent, but the positioning and different setups for your character really matters. So you're trying to take out their characters one at a time by like moving forward, attacking this group, kind of like a turn-based version of your live-action RPG that you would do, Brony, where you had like your different teams and they fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so terrain matters and position matters, and it's kind of like a cross between like Final Fantasy and Warhammer.
Okay.
So the anime style of Final Fantasy, but you have the tactics idea where you're moving around and choosing formations, and choosing weapons is really important in Fire Emblem. But it varies between games on what you do. Like, Disgaea is also that tactics genre, and there's a lot of Western RPGs which are in the tactics genre, which I mentioned earlier, like Neverwinter Nights, I think it was, and a lot of the Baldur's Gate games, that type of thing.
So, going back to DJ here, DJ said he would have liked to see an RPG. Can you remind me of what exactly type of RPG you wanted to see, DJ?
Since Friendship is Magic leads itself to having such a wonderful and colorful world, I think having a game where you explore it and just grow as characters would have made for a perfect video game experience for it, which you usually get most out of RPGs, where you get attached to your characters, you help them grow, but there's also this adventuring story.
So it would be kind of neat if, like, for instance, if you were following the storyline of the actual show, for instance, like, you come up against Starlight Glimmer, you have the choice to, like, befriend her or have her as an enemy forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this sounds, the more that DJ describes it to me, the more it sounds like Fallout or Skyrim, something like that. Am I understanding you correctly, DJ?
Kinda. Those are kind of RPGs.
I think the difference there is going to be that he wants a game with multiple characters.
Yeah.
Skyrim and Fallout generally only have like your principal character, but he's going to want like a squad of characters, which leans back to the idea of the JRPG or the tactics RPG, depending on which battle system he wants.
So a problem I have with this concept is that the situations that you put your character, or if you're playing as main 6, someone from the main 6, is if you're in the Equestria universe, and this is sort of goes into the conversation we had a couple of weeks ago of when when is it not Brony, is eventually, like, how do you make it feel like Equestria, and that you're working your way through situations through puzzles or interpersonal problems or conflicts that would be found in Equestria without it kind of just being any Fallout mod with an anthro pony skin.
Something that made you feel like you're part of the actual MLP universe rather than just a generic BS.
Yeah, so let's go down the panel here, and how would you, if Hasbro were to come out with an RPG, how would they set it in Equestria without running into some massive cognitive dissonance? Invisi, what do you think about that?
Oh, sure. Pick on me first. Well, I think what I was saying just now, it would be one of the main things is that, given the history of MLP's penchant for reforming villains, that should definitely be, because what RPG have you had that gives you the option to reform the villains instead of just outright destroying them? That would be a big differentiator right there. I mean, it wouldn't be a super unique game mechanic, but it would be different from a lot of the other RPGs out there, especially if they're doing it on their own storyline. Like, for instance, like I said, you meet Starlight Glimmer. Imagine if you didn't, you're like, oh no, she's not redeemable. She's an enemy. Let's destroy or jail her.
Okay. Harlock, what do you think?
Oh, see.
Did we lose Harlock?
No,
he just unmuted himself.
I muted myself.
Push to talk is fun.
Yep. I'm honestly gonna go with Invis's idea. Like, I could see maybe doing something similar to that. As far as like RPG goes, I could definitely see that happening, but I don't think they would. I think they would go more story-based gameplay. Kind of like an interactive story type deal, where if you had the sort of reforming mechanic, it would be more of a mini game within itself. I really don't see Hasbro like making like a traditional RPG in this sense, whereas it's more of an interactive story with more choices than anything else.
Yeah, so are you saying you don't think the RPG idea would work for Friendship is Magic?
I think it would, but like if they focused more on the narrative than on
like combat.
Like combat and such.
Okay, well that would just make it a
like a visual novel.
Yeah, a visual novel, or God forbid, even worse, a dating simulator. Yeah, which I happen to know there is at least one, but those are Brony games. We're not talking about those tonight. At least we're gonna try not to.
So let's just your friendship bulge.
I mean, they're official what should we call it? Visual novel games that aren't like dating sims. So I mean, I could definitely see that happening, where it's just like, okay, so here's the storyline, and then when you get to like a main point, or like let's say the roof, and it brings up like a mini game.
They would either need to hire David Silver, the guy who makes Pony Finder, because he bases a lot of his campaigns around that very mechanic of diplomacy over combat, or they would need to hire Zeus, because it's going to end up becoming like My Little Investigations.
I'd sign up for that. Why not?
Yep. So Zeus, speaking of which, how would you reconcile the differences between the themes of Friendship is Magic, or the themes of My Little Pony in general, because we got a lot, we're in freaking pony life now, versus your typical RPG?
Well, Lauren Faust always wanted to focus on the whole aspect of the world and pretty much the characters. Like, those are the two main driving factors of why G4 was so beloved. So then, I guess my mind kind of wanders over the most recent RPG I played. If there was a way to mix like the openness of like a Breath of the Wild, where it just doesn't really, well then again, like, okay, putting the audience aside, like if I were to design it for kids, I think kids do like to explore. So if we had the open world setting, we could go from town to town, explore dangerous things on your own time, see the nature of Equestria, maybe expand about them a bit more. I think that's really cool. But also have like aspects where maybe you can have like some narrative-driven episodes in there, kind of like a Persona, where you like choose who do you want to hang out with for a day. You get like a scene with them, you do a task, maybe like a mini game, and there's perks to improving your friendship with them, because it's really all about forging relationships and just trying to strengthen them through the namesake magic of friendship. And yeah, I feel like there's some way to fuse the exploration aspect of Breath of the Wild with Persona 5 type events that trigger in certain instances. I think that'd be the good hybrid that would set it apart, and I think would appeal to both kids and adults.
And Chucklyfun, what do you think? How do you reconcile the differences?
So I'm gonna go a little wild here on my design. I would try and think of the enemies in a JRPG less as actual like physical enemies that you have to defeat, and I would try to come up with a game that was more about solving friendship problems through the mechanics of a JRPG battle. And I would tie that into a game about resource management, which is kind of the angle that Zeus was going with Persona. You have time resources and a bunch of other resources, and you have to collect them and then figure out how to use them best to solve friendship problems. And ideally, the two would be integrated together a little bit. So you'd be using resources in the battle some, and you'd also be using resources out of the battles and trading some resources for others.
So Fluttershy stole your Pokemon Go spawn. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be in some sense either an enemy or a problem to be solved within the game, and there would be a lot less of like, hey, every battle we're facing up against wolves or bad
Life or
actors
death.
in the community.
That actually does sound a lot like the basis I was going off of Tales of Equestria, their official tabletop RPG, where there are some battles, but it's mostly of kind of managing resources and just trying to solve problems. There are battles, but they're kind of a minimal thing.
And I do want to state, like, a lot of RPGs, like tabletop RPGs, get a lot heavier into the resource management aspect. Like, if you want to travel across, like, from one side of the world to the other, you're going to be kind of playing something like an Oregon Trail game.
Yeah, it's like Albedo.
I think that could be cut back a little bit for a pony game, since it is meant for all ages.
What do you mean, like Albedo?
The last thing,
dysentery.
Yeah, the last thing I want to see on my screen, especially if I'm in the target demographic, is Rainbow Dash died of dysentery.
Yeah, we've seen that happen. But what I really mean here is, like, okay, you travel so far, that means that you use up this much food, and you gain these resources, and instead of, like, worrying that your journey's just going to fail constantly to randomness, you're more like, okay, I now have a different experience on this travel than I did on the previous one, and I have to react to it in a different way, and it causes different friendship problems that I have to solve.
Yeah, it's more like we have resources to travel for 7 days. As long as I don't, call Fluttershy a jerk on this trip, we'll be fine.
Yeah, and somebody doesn't eat all the jerky.
Yeah, darn it, Fluttershy, we're supposed to eat the venison, not save it.
Yeah, you ate all the jerky. You're a jerk. Oh, friendship problem. Attack!
Okay, so, DJ, of those solutions, of those premises, which one did you like the best?
Kind of all of them kind of collided together. I think I finally settled on how I think I would want it to go.
Yeah.
Is kind of a mix of Undertale's peaceful and genocide option kind of mixed with the job and stat building and character building of Octopath Traveler. I think that would be a good combination.
So an option that we never talked about, which you just unintentionally reminded me of, Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yes, that was one of the things that came to mind as well.
Yeah, or maybe Mass Effect, with a morality system that has different outcomes depending on which moral choices you make throughout the game.
Wait, is this pre-midichlorians?
Shoot, I don't know.
I don't want to start a war here, but I'm fine with midichlorians.
Talk about friendship problems.
Okay, so next up, Chucklyfun. What kind of game would you have liked to see Hasbro come out with?
So I would kind of like to. So first of all, I like a lot of the action games, and I would love for them to just figure out a way to stick ponies into some easily licensable game like Genshin Impact or a Warriors game like Dynasty Wars. They do that stuff all the time. Those types of franchises.
Yeah.
I don't think that we need to have a big debate over that. I think that would be cool. I think you could do it. I don't think we could have the same discussion we had over JRPGs that we had earlier. It would just be out of style. They'd be fighting enemies. You couldn't do the friendship problems idea I had there. My other idea, since I don't think that's worth discussion as much, there was a game that came out within the past few years called Overcooked, and it's kind of like the idea of running a kitchen. And we've had these games for a while, like single player management sim, run a restaurant games. But Overcooked was kind of about running the kitchen as a group of friends, which means that you kind of were actually dealing with friendship problems, kind of in the context of this restaurant sim game. And I think that actually mixes up pretty well. What if everyone was helping Pinkie Pie organize a party or something like that, and they kept on getting bizarre requests for different parties, which would be perfect for Pinkie Pie, and everyone's trying to help out, and everything's going which way, and you have to combine the balloons with Gummy and have him float up or something, whatever. And all that sounds pretty fun, and as far as I can tell, Overcooked is pretty fun. So I think that would be a great licensed game right there that would just make itself.
So like an RTS, but you're planning a party or setting up for a party, like an RTS puzzler. Is that what I'm getting out of you?
Well, I don't like the idea of RTS here because you'd have a group of people together, each controlling their own unit.
Okay.
So it's
like
kind of
in
more
a dangerous space-time.
Yeah, more like that.
All right, and by the way, out in the audience, if you haven't played that game, it's actually kind of fun. I gave it a few minutes with Heather one night just out of curiosity, and we had fun with it. So that's a game where you've got a ship, and the ship has 10 different parts, but there's up to 4 of you. There's anywhere between 1 and 4, and you got to manage this whole ship, constantly going between the different parts depending on if you need to fly through a certain thing or generate a shield or shoot back or things like that, and solve puzzles. So I definitely think that would work really well for a licensed My Little Pony game. DJ, what do you think about that idea?
I think it does make a lot of sense for Hasbro to do something like that, because from what I've seen of Overcooked, it's not really very complicated, so that would work perfect for their demographic. And it's very cutesy in its art style, so I think even if they did something simple as just doing a crossover with them as a special DLC promotion, probably would have been enough.
Oh, well, shoot, it would work perfectly for Pony Life. I mean, what we're describing now was essentially the first 6 episodes of Pony Life.
Yeah.
Pastries.
Yep. Zeus, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm glad we're actually thinking about more simpler games. RPGs can go wrong in such a lot of ways, so it's the riskier option, but the more rewarding in the end. But if they want to really market ponies, then smaller projects like this that are just not cash grabs, like what we got with the official gacha game of town building and all that, I think that would work great. I think Chuckly is on the right track with this idea.
Okay. Harlock, what do you think?
Like Zeus said, the simpler the better, so I think we're on the right track here. If we keep jamming ideas together, I'm pretty sure we can think of something.
All right, and Invis, what do you think?
What do I think of what? Where am I?
Of Chucklyfun's idea.
Oh, no, it's a good idea. It's hard to nail down a genre, and that's a really good way to kind of bring in both the source material and a genre you're trying to reach out to. I think it's fantastic.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement here. The best My Little Pony official game that could have been made was a Dynasty Warriors clone where all of the minions are changelings and the generals are the Legion of Doom, Tyrek, Cozy Glow, Chrysalis, Sombra, Grogar.
Yeah, friendship is Chinese after all.
Yep.
Wasn't there a fan game coming out of Japan that was in the works where you were fighting changelings?
Well, friendship is Japanese interpretation of Chinese Three Kingdoms history. Anyway, let's move on here. Let me see here. Zeus, what would you have liked to seen Hasbro come out with?
Definitely some stuff in the extended universe. The show is iconic as is, so I know this would be a risk, but since we're just talking possible games, I think since it's already gotten some support outside the main show, why don't we have some sort of action-adventure game with Daring Do? I think it could be...
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it would be a safe option because... Well, safe and not safe because you're not using the main six. But I can imagine, semi-platformer, like the old Indiana Jones games or something.
Oh, yeah. People would buy it, and it's outside the main storyline, so you don't have to worry about canon BS.
So like a Metroidvania.
Yeah, like something like that. Although I would prefer to be fully 3D, but 2D could work. I mean, if we want to start simple, a 2D massive, platformer action-adventure game.
So when does your programming come out? Are we expecting this next week or the week after?
No. I think a game like this needs like at least a year or so into kitchen.
Oh.
We can just skin La Mulana or La Mulana 2 and have ponies in that.
Or we could pull a Mario 2 and steal Doki Doki Panic.
Trying to think of a good example of a good action platformer that I played. I guess take some inspiration from Mega Man if you're doing 2D.
Oh, Rygar.
Rygar.
Yeah, no one's
What is
used Rygar. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's a 2D platformer from the old NES days.
What about Sly Cooper?
I have not played Sly Cooper. That is on my 2 playlists, but I remember that being pretty well respected.
Yeah,
I mean,
Platforming itself would be perfect for Daring Do, especially since it would probably also take a lot of inspiration from the Uncharted series.
Yeah, I was going to go with Uncharted for platforming and gliding along ledges and stuff.
Yeah, that or
cool.
Bionic Commando.
or if we want to go really old school, Pitfall.
Oh, snap, Pitfall.
Hey, y'all are losing me. I've never heard of any of this stuff.
We're flexing our retro muscles over here, I guess.
Yeah. Which is actually something that reminds me. We need to talk about the worst game of all time, E.T.
Oh, jeez.
No, we don't.
We could sleep deprive Harlock for 3 days and get him drunk, and he could program something better than E.T.
Yeah.
That's not saying much, but okay.
Or better yet, what if we had Daring Do... Anyone heard of this game called Comic Jumper? Where it kind of like goes between different styles and universes?
Oh, that would be really cool, like a dimensional hopper.
Yeah, that's been a trend lately. Like, I love the way Crash 4 did it.
Mm-hmm.
And Ratchet & Clank is going to do it, so why not with MLP if you want to throw in some other fictional universes within a fictional universe?
What we should do is develop Cyberpunk DLC that puts you into like a 2D comic mode and then like an 8-bit mode. And
Yeah, just something that'd be eye-catchy and fun, and you can like bring other things to life, like what was her name, Shadow Spade that Rarity brought up, because she's basically like Carmen Sandiego, I guess.
Yeah, the noir feel. In fact,
Yeah, Shadow Spade.
Van Hoover's doing a noir feel theme this year.
Wonderful. That's
Nice.
a good genre to focus on. But yeah, that's my idea. Daring Do needs some more love, and I think it's a safe/not safe option. Yep.
But yeah, any developers listening right now, that's where you should focus. Is start developing a Cyberpunk Noir DLC. That's where the money is.
Well, we've got 3 developers in this call, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm saying this right now. frickin' patent pending on all the ideas you hear tonight. Give us money.
Yes, Rarity Cyberpunk Noir DLC 2070 Pony.
Yes.
Is it also going to be Frog Fractions?
We will do whatever you pay us to do.
We don't talk about frog fractions here.
Oh, jeez. What's frog fractions? I have to know.
Well, yeah, I do not understand frog fractions, but they're quite riveting.
Hey, look at this. It's such a shame Invisibrony's having connection issues.
No!
Hang up. All right.
Frog Fractions is a game that gets really deep really quickly, and you have no idea what you're diving into.
Yeah, it's left us all very divided.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
find the repeating pattern of pi.
No.
It breaks the fourth wall and creates its own reality.
Which I kind of got the idea. We were talking about, like, oh, you're just jumping into different universes and game genres. I was like, oh, this is Frog Fractions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're now in the bad pun universe and we need to escape. But let's move on.
Yep.
All right.
Agreed.
Harlock, what kind of game would you have liked to see?
Two ideas come to mind, really. First one is if we could have gotten maybe a digital version of the card game. But
there actually is one. There is one.
Well, I mean, the way I would have done it, though, is, so there's this other digital card game I play, or I used to play, because I can't remember the name of it anymore. But it's an actual card game in IRL, but then the PC version, every time you play card, it plays a little cutscene. That would have been pretty fun.
No, that would be neat. But if you are interested, there is actually a... is it the shipping game you're talking about?
No.
Just like the CCG in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one for both of those. But yeah, there is a version you can download and play for free with all the cards.
I would unironically pay real money for for like a Magic the Gathering arena version of the My Little Pony collectible card game and and the shipfic folder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just one with all the artwork and just easy to, like, you download it and you play it. You don't have to, like, figure all the crap out.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gotta my game developer friends, we need to get on that idea real quick.
Yes, and also we need to avoid the cease and desist letters because, as we know, those are death knells.
Yeah, they can cease and desist with trying to find my address that doesn't exist. They don't even have that. The show's not even running anymore.
Okay, Rusty Shackleford.
Exactly. Thank you. All right. So, does anybody
have a second idea?
Yeah. Let me give you a second idea here really quick.
Yeah.
No.
Point and click game. That'd be simplistic for everybody to understand.
Pony Island.
Kind of like the old Telltale games.
Yeah, like Monkey Island.
Point and click adventures, yeah, not mystery game like what I did.
Oh, friendship swashbuckling.
That actually, that could work very easily.
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the best game ideas of the night.
Mm-hmm. All right, so nobody has any issues with Harlock suggestions?
Other than that it doesn't exist, I don't think so.
All right, well, part of the, I guess I should have vocalized this a little bit better, but, I'm looking for, where I can poke holes in this. Like, this idea would not work for My Little Pony, but for the most part, aside from the RPG and the Dynasty Warriors, which would get tricky, you guys have been coming up with some pretty good ideas.
All right, so you're looking for controversy and hole poking, is that correct?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, the show is called Brony Debates, not six nerds sit around on a table agreeing with each other.
Let's get devil's advocate out here and talk about something that I discussed with you earlier and was shot down on, not by you, but by the other party. And I won't go into detail because of that. But anyways, those of you who know what fighting is magic it was a great little pony-based fighting game, which was really fun, if, not very complete, and eventually got hit with the C&D from Hasbro. And Lauren Faust was like, let's make this a real thing. And then Fighting Herds was born. And it's a fantastic game, has a great development team. They've worked very hard on it. And I wish them all the love, success, and luck in the world, because they're that, underdog story where that guy with the broken leg managed to jump all them hurdles.
Yeah, for the better part of a decade. I mean, shoot, the main six has been around almost as long as the show itself.
Yes, and so I get it. Like, they went through a lot of hardships. They put their heart and soul into something, and it was crushed from above by the thing they loved most. And the god of that thing, who, they'd taken a vacation but decided to come back and be like, I will save you, my children. And they did, and it was fantastic. They wrote them all this new lore. They basically just rewrote everything for them and said, make your dream. That was amazing. I spoke to them tonight about coming on the show, and fair enough, they're like, that's not enough time. An hour and a half to come up with a PR statement for this show I've never been on before? No, we'll talk later. I'm like, fair enough. And I said, would you at least give me a statement about your stance on this? So, like, basically, we just, like, we if you ever have a show about just game development and that world, I'm in. But we're just trying to distance ourselves from LP after that, knock to the head. And I do not blame them for that. Like, how demoralizing is that you spend your time, effort, money, love building this thing for the thing you love, and the thing you love just flicks you in the forehead and goes, nope.
Hey, Invis, you mind if I take a second to make a public statement here?
I will be quiet now.
Well, I'm just going to say, I know I have talked a lot of trash on this show, but, about what I think about what happened with Fighting is Magic and how I would have handled that situation had it been me that it happened to. But I should probably say that, like, I completely agree with you. I understand why they made the choices that they made, and I don't hold that against them. All I have ever said, and I don't want to be mistaken at all here, is that I would have done it differently. So I want to throw that out there for the general audience and the panel, just in case that ever, all my trash talking comes back to bite me later.
This is the hill he'll die on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest, if only Main Six had Nintendo's lawyer from the '80s, Kirby, maybe he could have saved the day.
I see our friend Pony Cordero in the chat saying roughly the same thing there, Zeus. So, Invisi, what sort of game would you have wanted Hasbro to come out with?
Well, okay, it's not what kind of game I would have wanted them to come out with. It's how I wish they would have handled the situation. And it's the same thing I had, and I'm going to just give a quick aside here. It's the same... Oh, Christ, I forgot to turn off my phone. Hold on, I'll hang it up. There we go. It's hung up. It's the same thing I had back when the marijuana legalization thing was, like, all over every country. When you arrest marijuana dealers, don't send them to jail. Put them to work for the governmental... it's the same thing. Like, Hasbro's like, these people did a really good job, to the point where, like, we have to sue them because it's so good. Don't sue them. Hire them. Have them make the game for you. What is so hard about that?
Yeah, Hasbro, for some reason, had this allergy to controversy.
Yeah, I get it. It's not fighting is magic, it's friendship is magic, but still.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to tarnish their focus on the brand.
Because R34 didn't do that already.
Yeah,
Bronies didn't do that already.
And like in the show itself, Rainbow Dash and Applejack didn't throw hands on several occasions.
Yes, and that's why they're still fighting over chores today when they're married.
Off my stream.
He's right, and you know it. Get over it.
It's canon. I'm sorry. Deal with it. We'll
You're wrong. I'm sorry. Get over it.
That's next week's Brony debates. Let's handle that.
Oh, geez, y'all are just gonna make me air all my dirty laundry out, aren't you?
When do you don't do that?
Yeah, people are gonna learn about my politics.
Your dirty laundry smells. You don't have that sense.
We're gonna get Peter New back on. We're gonna talk about canon shipping.
Oh no! Oh no!
Myra and Bonbon are married. It's in a wedding photo.
Right. I still hate that ship. I don't care if it's canon. I still hate that freaking ship.
Oh, you're welcome to hate it. It's just real.
Yeah, I know. That I'm forced to live with.
You're not able to pull a vinyl.
I guess so. Anyway, I think that's it for the panel. Nobody had any qualms with anything that Invisi said.
No. Well, I guess that still leaves you, Brony.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while we've been talking, I've been doing two things. I've been writing down we've had a lot of very interesting suggestions from the chat, as well as some funny comments that we'll read off in just a minute here. But I've been coming up with a few of my own ideas, and I'm going to list them off to you here. So, is everybody familiar with what is it? It's on the Switch, and it's a fitness game.
Ring Fit Adventure?
Wii Fit Adventure. Thank you.
Ring
Fit Adventure. Yes, we need that, but with a My Little Pony skin, right? We need cardio with Rainbow Dash. We need apple bucking with Applejack. We need yoga with Rarity, and we need
Flying lessons with Twilight.
we need brain teasers. We need brain teasers with Twilight. We need wrestling bears with Fluttershy, and shoot, someone help me out with Pinky.
Train Suplex Simulator.
Yeah.
For Pinky, it has to be a trial of trying to escape her, like that episode with Rainbow Dash where she was Pepe Le Pewing after her.
Right, but Ring Fit Adventure did have like you would have this ring, and you would either, in order to make your character do certain movements, it was like a platformer. You would have to like squeeze it or pull it or raise it up over your head or like move it back and forth. You'd have to get on the ground with it.
Good night, everybody.
It would have those motion sensors. So yeah, I think that would be really great, and just have different exercise themes for each character. What are you saying, Invisi?
Did you ever play the Three Vikings?
No, I did not.
Oh, that's a discussion for later, but it's relevant to what you were talking about. We'll talk.
Mm-hmm. So the other idea was a puzzle platformer with the different types. Now, this is something that Harlock and I actually talked about working on. I was gonna do the story for him, and then he was gonna do pretty much everything else. Where you would have. Like imagine Sonic Heroes, but probably more so on a 2D thing, where you would have somebody, a type for strength and a type for flying and a type for like telekinesis or something like that, and you would switch between the two of them to get through, around, or move whatever obstacles are in your way. So that was that's an idea. I think if there's like a unicorn, a Pegasus, and an Earth Pony on a team, it would work really well. So does anybody have any issues with that?
No.
Okay.
Maybe one thing.
Yeah, tell me.
Peripheral games like that, I mean, they're kind of hard to do correctly. Like we have, the body tracking thing with the Kinect, and now the Ring Fit. I haven't really played Ring Fit, but I still have my doubts on, using a peripheral like that and actually get decent games off of it.
Like in terms of like multiplayer stuff.
Yes, it just seems.
Well, it's
I don't
like
know, it just
using
seems
one of
very
those. Do you remember the NES had that plastic pad you could plug in and run on for like track and field?
Yeah, that looked painful.
Oh yeah.
To use.
It's
Same
probably more likely that we would get the Dynasty Warriors game than this thing.
100%.
That's highly unfortunate, because I'm a fitness nut, and I think we need more video games based on fitness so they don't rot your brain.
Oh,
Hey,
hell yeah.
I'm with you. Just design the right peripheral, have the right pad.
You should not be allowed to play World of Warcraft if you're not on a 360 treadmill. Run to Stormwind, you fat piece of crap.
I agree.
Can you imagine how fit gamers would be if that was true? Like, I played 1,000 hours in Warcraft. Oh look, I look like my Warcraft character.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
League of Legends, the League of Legends, or what was that show that we were watching over at your place that one time, Bryan? Was that League of Legends? Or was that?
There is not a League of Legends show. You're probably talking about. Were you talking about Shadow Skill?
No, there was some.
Wait, what happened on the show?
What, streaming League of Legends?
Yeah.
Some of the competitive matches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were watching that with Cordero after one of our workouts, weren't we?
Yeah. So that was Twitch streaming a professional League of Legends match.
Like, here's what you'll never be, you scrub.
Right. So that was.
Does Brony want a pony MOBA?
Well, no.
I'm just saying a MOBA would look very differently if the players were actually forced to run in order to control their characters.
How did we not talk about a pony MOBA this entire evening? How did that not
because
happen?
MOBAs are horrible, that's why.
No, because they're addictive, and we could sell it with Hasbro. Let's make money.
I mean, if Pokemon's doing it, why not?
Okay, so tell me this then. How the heck would you make a pony MOBA?
Canon characters versus fandom OCs. And they have cease and desist towers across the map.
Oh jeez. Alrighty then. So here's my next
think
idea.
Of one more thing though, before we go on.
Oh my god.
The one thing that would actually work for your idea, Brony, for making an exercise game.
Yes.
We never brought up VR.
No, we didn't.
VR has just as many problems as the peripheral problem that Zeus mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Actually, it's too niche.
More problems technically, because my god, VR is a hassle for programming. But that sounds like an entirely different topic for next week. Am I right, Brony?
It might be. We'll see. We've actually got something planned already for the next debate, but that's
what I meant was I was trying to give you a segue to say goodbye, everybody.
No. we got 8 minutes left, and we got a lot of chat to get through.
Oh, I thought we were running over. Never mind.
No. Okay. So my next idea was I just wrote Pokemon Go paparazzi. So you are Featherweight, the photographer of the Full Free Press, and you've got to go through Ponyville and try to catch ponies in compromising situations to get more points and take pictures of them. It's just like Pokemon Go.
Was that not in the last anthology?
Shoot, it might have been. I
forgot the name of the song.
I don't have all 7 anthologies memorized, unfortunately.
The one that was really well animated?
Oh yeah.
Shoot, it might have been.
But, it's Featherweight. Anyways, go on.
But even so, if that was there, that was an anthology clip. I want the actual game because us photographers don't get enough love.
But hire that person who animated that video to do it.
I'm sure we could. Okay, so my next idea was we have either a turn-based combat or a real-time strategy that's next to impossible. Like you've got to put your stats perfectly in order to actually succeed, because otherwise it's going to follow the exact story of a Canterlot wedding.
Oh,
so
but there has to be different modes in terms of which stats you pick.
Yes, so you play through the episode of a Canterlot wedding, like the first part, taking that time to build up your character, build up your team, and then during the second part, you have to implement your strategy, either in turn-based or real-time strategy, to defeat the Changeling Horde and bring the elements of harmony to Cadence, right?
Now, question on that is, if I obviously would want a perception intelligence build to survive that particular episode, would it be possible to do it with a, say, strength and stamina build?
I don't know. So somebody who knows more about these games, help me out here. The idea basically is that I want to make it extremely difficult. Like, people would think that it's impossible because otherwise you're breaking the lore of what already happened in the show.
You have to pick the one of the 1% choices to succeed.
Yes.
This sounds kind of like the city mode on Kirby's Air Ride, where you did this multiplayer and you just gave the award to whoever did it the best. But the whole pregame was maxing out certain stats by wandering throughout the city and finding particular items and essentially building up your character's stats. And then you do a simple mini game which required a little bit of input and try and use your like particular stat build and character abilities as best as you could to complete the objective, which might be fly as far as possible, do a bunch of damage, stuff like that.
I think a good way to finish the game, like you get through the episode and it tells you how close you got to the end. Like it gives you a percentage. Like let's say if you have a really good playthrough, you get like 90%, right? But you don't. But it doesn't tell you what you did wrong. Replay value. And I see Rusty Helm says, Brony, I think you mean Pokemon Snap. And yes, I do. What did I say? Pokemon Go? I meant Pokemon Snap.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That one's just me having a brain fart.
I was thinking very hard on Pokemon Go there for a while and then realized you were trying something different.
Yeah. All right, was somebody trying to say something? I feel like I interrupted somebody. Okay, moving on. My next idea. Daring Do, but Dark Souls.
I'm in.
Yeah. Oh my God, I've never heard Zeus be so enthusiastic about anything.
Only because I'm currently suffering through it, Brony. But
Have you never heard him talk about an escape room?
Or being in a stream with me?
Yeah, that too.
George first, I assure you.
Yeah, so what do you guys think of Daring Do but Dark Souls?
How much money can I give you? I don't have any, but I'll give it all to you.
I feel kind of like I did for like my other suggestions, like Dynasty Warriors and Genshin Impact. Like all these games, if you're willing to stretch the theme enough, would be fantastic crossovers.
Also, if you look in the chat, Pony Cordero has agreed to back Rusty Helm on a 50-50 venture on Dark Souls. Heck yeah, they're financially back.
How would it work though? Like, how do you want like feel full violence and sword combat and all that stuff? Which we'll have to stretch it to accommodate a dark fantasy or something like.
Well, you could actually you could have a dark fantasy. You could have horror elements. You could have horror elements. Just don't make any of the enemies like sapient. They're animated skeletons. They're rock golems. They're statues that have been brought to life with magic. And so at that point, it would be perfectly fine within the universe of Friendship is Magic to freaking break these things.
It have to be like a post-apocalyptic setting
and
or
maybe,
something.
and then I don't know. And then maybe you got to fight Awizodel. Maybe you gotta team up with Dr. Caballeron, but he's he might backstab you at any given time, so you got to be very careful about where you got to find a way to keep him in your field of view the whole time, especially if you're carrying some kind of treasure.
Now the one thing I'd say, it's like there are a lot of big enemies that'd be really cool if given the Dark Souls treatment. Like, the Hydra.
Nightmare Moon, first off. Do not skip over Nightmare Moon in Dark Souls mode. That would be an amazing boss. Like, again, 20-foot tall Nightmare Moon that you have to whittle down.
Or Discord, but he's more modeled after, like, a Chinese dragon, and he just snakes around the whole room trying to bite you up.
No, it's Discord, but you never see him because he's just parts of the environment as you run through a maze, and he just hits you out of nowhere, and you have to just anticipate it.
Yeah, but then it's Discord, so his AI is going to be random, so you just better have amazing cat-like reflexes.
Exactly, but it's random.
So if you guys don't want to do the super fight every single enemy style of Dark Souls, there is a kind of similar spiritual connection to Shadow of the Colossus, which was a game about fighting boss monsters, wandering around the world, and then just spending all your time for essentially that level fighting a gigantic boss. And it kind of has the feel of fighting a boss in Dark Souls a little bit.
I mean, you could have King Sombra in Dark Souls. And you could have a whole series of missions based around King Sombra where he has just laid every kind of trap imaginable. Now here's the thing, Sombra is a villain, so he's trying to be lethal, so his traps can kill you, but
they all involve stairs.
Yeah, but he had more traps than just the stairs. I mean, there were a lot of stairs, but more traps but he's got those traps that are trying to kill you, and when you actually face him off, he's trying to kill you, but you, Daring Do, are just trying to reverse the spell that summoned him, and re-imprison him, things like that. But he's only, when you do eventually fight him, he's only tangible at certain amounts of time because he keeps smoke monstering his way through the room.
He's focused on tripping you up while you focus on trapping his butt.
Yeah, and you could also bring in elements of like Scarecrow from the Arkham Asylum games, where he gets into your head and makes you hallucinate your worst fear.
Oh, but you could also have it so that when you get to that fight in that particular time, like your choices have determined what powers you have. So let's say you show up with psychological and physical manipulation powers, but you went through the game the wrong way, you can't beat them because they don't work. You have to have like a certain combination of certain choices, and like let's say instead of
and you got
psychological and mental instead of psychological and physical
artifacts that give you certain buffs and debuffs that you find throughout the game,
and still be like, nope, you died, sucker.
That concept.
Go ahead.
That concept works pretty well for a lot of like shorter missions, like, hey, go through this like level and you're building yourself up to fight a final boss or challenge. There have been quite a few games which have had this idea of like, it's kind of like an RPG, getting the stat bonuses and getting different effects.
But I understand this. And let me tell you why. I'm 41 years old. I grew up on the NES, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was an NES game that embodied everything you just said. It was a torturous nightmare of a game. It was the worst because it was unfinishable. It was that bad.
Yeah, did that game was literally impossible, wasn't it?
No, it is not literally impossible. It is quote unquote technically finishable, but you would have to dedicate your life to doing it or develop it. Those were the two choices. So I don't feel bad because I was a great gamer as a kid, and that game shattered my confidence. It was so bad.
Alrighty then. Let's see here. I got a couple more here. Okay.
I was talking a little bit about your idea still.
Okay,
all right. So basically, they have this idea that you fight through like a short level, like something that would be equivalent to like a normal level in a video game, and then at the end you fight a boss, and each step you go, you get an upgrade. So if it's a deck builder game, they give you another card each level, and maybe you can get rid of some sometimes. If it's a like JRPG, you get upgrades to your party. If it's some other game, like you get a new weapon or something. Anyway, each step you go on, you're making choices, and you're trying to find interesting combos on the abilities, and you know the final boss beforehand, so you're trying to build like the ultimate thing to fight that boss, and then sometimes maybe move on to the next level and you get to keep some of it.
Sorry, was that Chuck or DJ saying that?
That was Chuckly.
Sorry, their mics are both lit up. Chuck, can I say that's a great idea, but it would be a much better idea for a genre of game than a specific game, like based on a franchise.
So I'm saying this game has already been done. I'm saying this is a popular game idea already, and I'm just describing it.
Sorry, I missed the first part then.
Okay. All right, my last two ideas were GTA, but Equestria girls.
Murder those Equestria girls.
Well, I'm thinking more along the room got real quiet, so nobody agrees with me.
No, there's a lot of MLP mods for it already, so you're kind of behind the times on that.
I know that, but I'm not talking about literally GTA. I'm talking about a game, or a game where you have to just drive around and do missions.
I need this car for the purpose of friendship. Give it to me.
How different is GTA driving from first-time teenager driving?
Not very. But you know something, you just made me think of, like, what if Sunset Shimmer became a Lyft driver and we just get Crazy Taxi?
I think that's next. That's a fantastic.
Well, we already know she's an angry video game nerd.
It's not
So
me.
her
It's
range driving isn't all that surprising.
All right, let's see here. My last idea was the Stanley Parable, but with Pinkie Pie.
I thought
wow.
it was the Stanley Parable.
With Pinkie as the narrator, or
She is the narrator.
You know,
She's the
Here's
entire game.
Here's the thing: Pinkie could be on either side of that, and it would work just fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think her
100%.
Discord would be perfect. Yeah, it could work.
Mm-hmm.
I see it more as a fan game than an official game, but
I could see it. I could see it as Discord torturing Twilight.
Oh no,
yeah.
that's nothing to do with Discord. Let's just say just Pinkie Pie being involved. Possible, yes. Would she do it? Probably not. But she could do it if she felt motivated enough to do so.
All right. So out of all my ideas, we seem to really not like the GTA one or the Stanley Parable one.
Oh, those were my two favorites, but screw those other guys.
Yeah.
I think they could work. It's just not something I think Hasbro would ever bother with.
Oh no, something they would vehemently stop you from doing.
I don't think Hasbro would bother with any of the suggestions we've made tonight.
I mean, if you went ahead with the game and made a pony GTA, they'd be like, nope.
Yeah, Harlock, have you been taking notes? We're gonna have some work to do after this stream.
Mental notes.
Yep. All right, now who's ready? Yeah, go ahead.
Let's not forget the other obvious crossover Minecraft.
Shut up, Steve.
So let's see here. Pony Cordero just said, in the perfect timing for us to get into the audience participation section of this, he said, "How did rhythm games not come up, or official karaoke as well?"
really good point. Rhythm games should have come up, I think.
Harlock plays rhythm games. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna mention a rhythm game, but it was
Bust a Groove?
No, it wasn't Bust a Groove. It was actually a concept way back when of a fan
Samba de
game.
Amigo?
No, think Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, Jammer Lammy.
Yes, or the former, or yeah.
Well, Parappa was first. Jammer was the sequel.
Yeah, I meant either or would work, but yeah.
Did you turn, punch, kick, and chop the doll?
Dang.
Back in the day, there Mystery Ben, before he was doing the Mystery Skulls videos, did My Little Pony rhythm games off of. God, there was some rhythm game he was taking the songs from, but those all looked really good. Let's see here. So we've had a lot of really good suggestions and comments from the stream tonight. Starting with Paladin Pony T, he wants to know, what does the toaster say? Give us some wisdom there, Chuckly.
Wisdom about what specifically?
Just spit some wisdom at us. Anything. First.
Okay.
Ohms.
Video games are pretty wild. Like, you can do a lot of different things, and if we had the ability for fans to just do whatever they wanted, like we've kind of talked about with Fighting Herds and the original Fighting is Magic, like, we could have a lot more cool things all throughout, not just My Little Pony, but a lot of other stuff. I'd really like to see fans be given that freedom, not just for ponies, but for everything.
All right, so that's what the toaster says. Matthias, I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, I apologize. Uni dos tres. Okay, that's interesting. Says, I've dreamed of an Elder Scrolls like My Little Pony game. What do we think about that idea?
Get some mods for Skyrim and move on.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I don't think it would translate well to Equestria.
I mean,
Well,
you'd
but
be your own horse. You could climb up mountains at your own whim.
No, I'm saying his dream is out there. It's achievable. Just do that and stop asking how to achieve it.
Paladin Pony T wants to know: do we think a visual novel could work as a pony game?
Isn't that just
Only for people who aren't blind.
Mm.
Wait, what? I thought I'm living proof that it can work. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, even people with sight don't want to be with them.
Let's see here. Pony Cordero says Fire Emblem is waifu fantasy chest with boobs, swords, and Dragon Ball Z powers. Does anybody disagree?
Fact.
I don't know
That's
anything about Fire Emblem.
Did I die and go to heaven?
It also has a lot of like Persona style relationship game where you go around and make friends.
You also get to tell your
Yeah,
kids
but I
that are
think
stronger
I
than you.
think from what I've seen of Persona, that's essentially the same, like core concept, but with a different skin.
Yes, and it's also
No, that's what I
clearly,
was saying.
It's also clearly the definition of hell. So let's all agree on that and move on.
All I know,
I was saying like he'd missed the Persona relationship aspect.
all
in
I
that
yeah. All I know about Fire Emblem is one time I was running a photo booth at a convention, and this couple came up dressed as Fire Emblem characters, and this girl was wearing this bra that was much too small for her, and she pretty much popped out of it, and it was hilarious.
And that's why you're divorced.
No, that's oh my gosh, I can't take you anywhere, Invisi. Penny the Pencil Pony 109 says, I tried to recreate Portal with ponies. What do we think about Portal for ponies?
Oh, that
That's
would be
really
amazing.
not any different than what it would be normally.
Yeah.
Well, Fair
See,
enough.
Derpy the companion cube.
No, we're not burning
I
Derpy.
just don't know why I'm on fire.
At least not any worse than Hasbro themselves did.
Oof.
I don't know why Karen's on fire.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else?
Brony would want Flurry Heart to be the cube.
Well, her wingspan is big enough.
And I would incinerate her with glee, so what's the problem there?
Let's see here. Paladin Pony T says, Brawny, are there any fan games of MLP that you think might have been good? I loved Fighting is Magic. Ambient White looks like it's going to be really good. Is Ambient White out yet? Does anybody know about that?
I've never heard of it.
How? It's okay. So
No, please enlighten me.
it's it looks like Zelda Breath of the Wild, but with Princess Luna and Princess Celestia.
Is this a fandom project, or am I just like?
Yeah, it is, and it's been going on for years.
Okay,
and it's
hold on.
actually-
I think I found the site. May I share it with the group?
Sure. I mean,
hold on.
is there anybody else in the call that doesn't know about Ambient White?
Never heard of it.
I don't.
Okay. Well, look at my stream. I'm going to stream this in the channel right now. Hold on.
They're not going to be able to see it on the stream. Invisi, they're not going to be able to see it on the live stream itself. So everybody who's listening,
Yeah,
all
channel.
16 of us, just have to go look up Ambient White if you're not familiar with it already.
Yeah.
Pony Cordero says, oh, actually, before I do that, I should pass that question off to everybody else. DJ, fandom game that's been good.
I never actually played any of them other than Fighting is Magic.
All right.
I've only heard of some.
Zeus.
Yeah, I actually had a fan game to suggest. So what was the question again?
Fan games that we think are good.
Yeah, I just posted it. It's called Octavia and the Underworld's Cello.
Is
It's
this
still-
Maniac Mansion?
It's a point-and-click adventure. The one that an idea that who suggested it? I think Harlock
that
did.
was Harlock.
Yeah.
Does the hamster end up in a microwave at any point in this game?
No.
All right, then it's
But
not
you do
Maniac
get to set a
Mansion.
timber. You do get to set a Timberwolf on fire and witness some very creepy, uncanny deaths, but it's a really good narrative-driven puzzle game that it takes place during Nightmare Night, and there's actually a pretty good story you uncover in it. I wish it did have the full voice acting because it has Noah King in there, but it's only for the intro, and the rest of the game is all silent.
What voices are you
we send it
missing?
one day. We just literally need, I think, you need a cast of probably 8 people.
Do you need any male
There's not that
voices?
many characters.
Anyways.
Well, I'm not the one responsible for the game, but yeah, we do need some males for that game.
All right,
Here's
Brony,
what we're gonna do, Zeus. I'm gonna voice all the characters, even the females. I'm not gonna change my voice.
and he's gonna be super sexy in all of them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read all of Apple Bloom's lines in my normal voice.
No, Brony, you be the narrator in that game because the narrator has a lot of sass when talking to Octavia the whole time.
Okay.
It's the voice in her head.
What were you trying to say, Invisi?
Oh, I was just saying, if you need voices, talk to me later.
Okay. Let's see here. What else do we got for the chat? And by the way, guys, am I the only one that was reading the chat this today?
Yep.
Okay.
I was looking through it, but it's not my job.
Pony Cordero says, "My little tulpa, friendship is imagination."
No.
I'm pretty sure they
Oh,
already did that and called it Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, I
Nope.
said something to the answer that, actually.
Yeah, what did you say? I didn't see it.
It was right under that. I forget, but I thought you saw it. I thought you were about to call me out on it.
No, I didn't. I was too busy copying and pasting the question.
Oh, well, then I said nothing. Move on.
All right. Paladin Pony T wants to know if we would play the My Little Pony Dungeons and Dragons game. So, Tales of Equestria. Do we play Tales of Equestria?
I am in.
I have played a few of the a few of the books. It's kind of entertaining.
Mm.
There's not a whole lot to it.
I think the real question here is if we can get a qualified DM who's played this before to run a game for, let's say, 6 people plus the DM. Someone who can help us in character creation. We can be ourselves and our pony whatevers. I think that would be really fun.
Let's see. I'm not into tabletop games myself very much, so things like Dungeons and Dragons, I have a lot of trouble getting into them. I played one round of Pony Finder one time, and it was all right, but like it was 2 hours long, and I don't think I could sit for much longer than that, really.
And 7 people were dead at the end of the night.
Yeah. Let's see here. Paladin Pony T wants to know, Brony, would you guys play a game based on Equestria's history? Which I think it depends on what kind of game. Are we talking are we doing Dynasty Warriors here with the 3 warring tribes? You know,
Give me a game on the
to-
Legends of Equestria.
It's gonna be fun.
leading up to Hearthwarming. One of the generals is Princess Platinum.
So it literally would just be Dynasty Warriors that makes fun of history.
Yeah, Lieutenant Pansy is the Lu Bu of the game. Just impossible to beat.
Be kind of cool if you could get to play as some of the characters. I'd love to play as Clover.
Yeah.
See how he plays.
I love to see more exploration with the Legend 6. They're there for a reason. Use them.
They're after that though, I think.
It's still pre-show Equestria.
Yep.
Before, yeah, it's still they're old. They're like over 1,000 years old.
Fight some hordes of manticores.
Have that like a balancing game of Somnambula walking that tightrope blindfolded. And if you,
Oh god,
Yeah, if
it'd
you
be a
can't-
butt masher.
I'm sorry, I heard blindfolded and safe word? What?
Okay, no, you didn't hear that. Yes, thank you, DJ. Elizabeth Osborne says, Brony and friends, My Little Ponies in The Sims. What do we think about that?
There's a very nice video series about that.
Yes, I've done one
I don't
too.
have fun playing The Sims, so I wouldn't want it.
I'm assuming you can just do that through a mod, right? And you
Probably.
get everything that you wanted.
Yeah, I think that exists already.
Oh,
I'm all
yeah.
for it. It's pretty much fits into the whole spirit of the show, so I think it'll work a lot. Just
Yeah.
pick a pony, raise a pony family, and mingle.
And
I
then you
don't-
get dead afterwards, or get them trapped in the pool.
I
If you're
built
gonna be that Sims player, sure.
I built Fluttershy a veterinary clinic and then built a death labyrinth under her house.
Lovely.
And then you put the butcher shop next door.
We sold so many hot dogs that summer, it was ridiculous.
Sign on the entrance that just says "Stay out of my shed."
Stay out
Oh
of my
my
shed.
God. You know, so, I'm gonna distract for just a second because I want to tell the story that you just reminded me of. When I lived in an apartment early on in the fandom, and I had some friends over. I forget what we were working on, but we were working on something. Might have been for a convention. But these kids were being super loud out the back of my apartment. So after like the third time they just got distractingly loud, I went out onto the balcony and I just shouted, "Hey you kids, stay out of my shed!" And then they started being quiet.
And they Fluttershy.
Yep. Okay, so Neo Anton says simple version of Yu-Gi-Oh with MLP characters, and I think we already touched on something like that tonight.
Yeah.
That would be the
Change
perfect
Sun's
way to
white
create
pony?
the pony card game.
Mm-hmm. Harlock, did you just summon a bunch of ponies in one turn?
I'm princess. Screw the rules.
Couldn't think of the line. Thank you.
Yeah, well, Invisibrony saved you on that one. All right. Paladin Pony T says, how about a Power Ponies game? Now, something like that could certainly justify heavier action in combat than what we might typically deal with in My Little Pony.
Yes, you're
Does
a maniac.
anybody here remember the old Freedom Force games?
Oh, the cartoon-based one?
Uh,
Or like what was it called? City Heroes?
No, Freedom Force was a like tactics RPG that was based on like Golden Age comics or something.
Oh, okay,
So
because
they were
there's a superhero game of the same name.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about like the PC game that's not an MMO.
No. Guys, a side-scrolling beat-em-up, kind of like the old X-Men
Oh, like
arcade
Fatal
games.
Fight.
Yeah, but more like the X-Men ones, because in those you had like
The
clearing.
The Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah, well,
Technically correct.
you're technically correct, but like with the X-Men one, if I remember correctly, there were a few characters that had like powers.
Jubilee sucked.
They had powers that could take out. They could do supers and take out multiple enemies at the same time. That would work more closely with a Power Ponies theme, side-scrolling beat 'em up like that.
Yeah, that would work. I mean,
Like it
with
would
the
actually be a
Power
really
Ponies.
good cross between the Simpsons game and the X-Men game, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Stupidity with validity.
Yeah, I'd take it. And Humdrum is the most powerful character, but everybody underestimates him, so nobody picks him. Like he's just super quick. He can get across the board. He's got a really high guard. He can hit multiple times with a single button.
Off topic, but Brony, do you remember Broforce?
I was actually about to say that next. Broforce,
What-
the
what if
Power
we did-
Ponies.
We did like Broforce, but instead it's Friendship is Manly.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's like battle.
Someone go get Kanashi Panda on the line. Someone go get Kanashi Panda on the phone. I think that's something she would actually go for.
Oh my god.
It's all just pun names for each one.
Oh jeez, I would take that.
Okay, hold on.
Did anybody?
I have a legitimate request. Does anybody know who this artist is? I'm gonna post it in Brony's chat.
Just tell me the name. You're on air, dude.
I don't know the name. That's the problem. Like, look here. Like, who does anybody recognize this art? Somebody posted it, and somebody's desperate to commission them for something.
Oh jeez, I have no idea. This
All
is
right.
this is why I.
Why not just post it in Discord?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll reverse image search it later.
Yeah, I was
yes,
about to say
yeah.
reverse image search that.
Neo Anton says MLP cart games.
I don't.
So-
I don't like a lot of those other cart games.
I
They
mean,
don't-
Garfield has one.
Yeah.
It could work. Remember the Soapbox Derby episode from Cart Before the Ponies? Let's make a game off
One of
that.
the most underrated episodes ever.
Exactly.
I'm actually being serious.
No,
I know
so
you're not.
so am I. So am I. I mean, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Applejack were pissing off everybody in that episode, but that's the point. And the moral makes a lot of sense, and people forget that. Anyway, I would take a pony cart game. What do you think?
I'd be down.
Oh, Cart Before the Horse, the worst episode ever.
Okay.
We literally just said no, but okay.
Let's see here. In reference to me talking about how I would handle a cease and desist from Hasbro, Pony Cordero says they can see in D's nuts.
Ouch.
That's great.
Yep, cashews specifically. They're my favorite nuts. Matthias Uni dos Tres, I'm pretty sure that name is a pun, says, you do know Pony Island was a horror game, right? Yeah, of course, but we still had, Scaremaster. We still had the Crystal Empire. There were some, horrifying aspects of Friendship is Magic, or even just, themes that you could very easily translate into a horror setting. Am I wrong, gentlemen? No, nobody.
Can
Or
you say
setting
am I
from
right
LP.
so we can respond?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you just say am I right so we can respond?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
said. Am I
All
right?
right. You're right. You're right.
Exactly. Okay.
What would everybody think of a Mario Party style game?
Mamma mia.
It'll work as long as the games are varied enough and there's
Yeah.
enough to go around.
Okay, so let's real quick think of some mini games for a Mario Party style game. DJ, hit me with one.
How many? Trying to buck as many apples from trees as you can in a certain amount of time.
I'm gonna say bouncing. How many times can you bounce a ball against Rainbow Dash or the other players? Zeus, what do you think?
I think firing fireworks during a Wonderbolt show and trying not to hit a Wonderbolt as their patterns get more complex.
Interesting.
Chucklyfun,
Just-
what do you think?
Reference that episode.
I remember the pet episode for Rainbow Dash and how she was having all the pets fly around, and you could have choose your pet and have it do the different flying stuff. And
Each level would be different.
well, I'm thinking you'd have different courses, but I'm thinking in a party game, you'd fly, and who would ever get there the fastest or get the most rewards or something would win that round and get the coins or something.
The Clefairy Simon Says, but with Cheerily.
Wait, what?
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that
I
was
just thought-
from a Pokemon game. Now that I remember.
Pokemon Stadium.
Yes, Harlock, what do you think?
Paris. I have another one.
Maybe picking out which one is the changing it of identical ponies. I don't know.
DJ, what were you saying?
You have a game where you're button mashing to make instrument noises and try to get as many Parasprites to follow you out of everyone else.
And Invisi, what do you think?
The Parasprite thing threw me for a loop. That's actually a pony rhythm game would be an interesting thing. So a Parasprite combo thing and dance competitions at Ponyville and the Crystal Palace and so on.
Pony DDR.
Exactly. Or para, or pony para, whatever it's called.
Pony Cordero says, at Brony Buck, while making the game, we tell Nintendo that Hasbro is making an online version of Melee, so Nintendo C&Ds Hasbro before they can C&D us, thus canceling it out, we win.
And that's where Nintendo Switchblades were born.
Outstanding
So
move.
Pony Cordero has an ESQ on the end of his name on some of his like Facebook profile and stuff. That means he's a lawyer.
Yep.
So he can just say stuff like that. Canon.
I see Aleximus Prime says, all I want is a side-scrolling Metroidvania-style MLP game with a bit of some RPG elements thrown in. We were talking about that earlier, Aleximus. Let's see here. Royal Silver says, yo, Brony. Hey, Royal, thanks for coming on the stream, or thanks for watching. So who here has heard the news about Sephiroth in Smash? What do we think about Sephiroth in Smash, gentlemen?
Kirby will defeat him.
Polio!
How,
I can't wait for a terminal montage video where it's Kirby versus
Why will
Sephiroth.
Why
He is going to
Kirby-
swallow that sword. He will swallow that sword so fast.
I'm pretty hyped for Sephiroth. Initially,
Me
it
too,
wasn't,
dude.
but I mean, come on! It's Sephiroth that literally chases Cloud through every single dimension and franchise, from FF7 to Kingdom Hearts, and now here.
If they wanted the
glorious.
heart, if they wanted the heart for the gamers, it should have been Eris. Eris lives.
Aerith.
Aerith is the one that got stabbed in 7, right?
Remake Part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone thought they would be able to revive, and nope, she's dead.
Mm.
Yeah, you just
But
gotta
the
wait
one
for
that-
Part 3 of the remake.
But the Final Fantasy character that's gotten by far the most art has always been Tifa.
I think maybe they said they had enough waifus in the game at the moment after Byleth.
After Bayonetta.
No, Byleth.
Well, no, but like there were too many waifus in the game once they put Bayonetta in there. Like Bayonetta's like 3 waifus all in herself.
Really?
Well, we know
Sure.
what Brony's into apparently. Heather, take notes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You're wrong, but I don't feel like fighting you about it. All right, I'm just speaking from what I have observed of Bayonetta fans.
Sure.
Sure.
We totally believe you,
I
Brony.
have absolutely no way to disprove you, so I'm just gonna have to take the L on this one. Pony Cordero says we're gonna release a kata game. So karate. We're gonna release a karate game, and no matter how much you play it, it just gives you a fail screen, and Brony yells at you to check your stance.
Do you have to use the Wii nunchucks as your peripherals?
Yes, and you have to use them like actual nunchucks.
No, see, if you're gonna get that to work, it has to be on the Kinect because it's never gonna match you anyway.
That'd be torture. That'd be the Dark Souls of freaking of fitness games. At that point.
Now, Pony Cordero, Chucklyfun, and Zeus, we all get together a few times a week and we work out. And I've been teaching them karate over the last year or so. And that is one of the biggest things that I harp on is check your stance. Are your feet pointed in the right way? That horse stance better be low enough. Lean into that cat stance, darn you! And, because we got to build up those leg muscles. That's why we're doing it. So he's speaking from a genuine place there.
Traumatizing experience.
Yes. Let's see here. We did. Then he talked about rhythm games, and we already talked about rhythm games. Matthias Unidos Trace says, Brony, maybe an escape from Tartarus roguelike. Does anyone here like Hades?
Haven't played it yet.
I like games like Hades. I need to play Hades, I guess, but I like games like Hades, like Diablo 3 and Path of Exile.
I'm not a fan of dungeon crawls in general, so no, hard pass.
Yep. Let's see here. Malik Muhammad says, pony game that could work. A Pinkie Pie daycare simulator. Short 4 to 5 hour game filled with vibrant colors and cute baby parent character interactions with randomly generated tasks in each playthrough.
Oh, poor Pinky.
That could be fun, though.
Pinky's Incredible Machine.
Yeah.
I not the biggest fan of Pinky, so won't play.
Not a lot
Also,
of
I
people
love
like
Twilight.
baby cakes either, which is surprising to me.
No.
A lot of people don't like it. Also, what Paladin Pony T posted is hilarious. Brony is into hair because he is losing his.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh no.
Bayonetta.
You all need to get original material. Like, there's so many things you could make fun of me for, and y'all go straight for the hair. It's been done. Come up with something new. All right? How about
Because
the fact
every time
that
you still react.
how about the fact that I have hair everywhere else except where I'm supposed to have it? How about the fact that I shoot, what else do I freaking do? My general disposition. You know? How about the fact that I'm like the morbidly obese? There's a number of things you could go to. And
There's
it's
a
always
reason he's
just the hair.
holly and jolly.
Exactly. And to close us out for the night, unless somebody else has some other chat that they want to address, Pony Cordero says the cake is a pie.
It's,
cake is a pie.
In your spell checker's broken.
No, that sounds like his alley.
It was. I think that was posted when someone brought up Portal.
Oh, really? I think that's a lie. Like the cake.
Yeah, it might be, but he also might just be making like a twist on it.
Oh, it's like a meringue.
Oh, now that's just making me think of Portal, but you're playing as Rainbow Dash and GLaDOS as Pinky.
That would work.
GLaDOS is definitely Discord.
To get Rainbow Dash to eat pie.
Alrighty then. So, I think that's a good place to end the stream before it gets any frickin' worse.
Wait, we're still streaming? Oh my god, why was I saying those things?
You should
Too late
have.
now.
Were you here a couple of weeks ago, Invisi, when we stopped streaming and then it's still recorded and aired? Pony Cordero trash talking on Dr. Wolf for like 2.5 minutes.
I haven't heard it personally, but I haven't been sued yet, so I have no idea.
Alrighty then. That was a funny thing that happened. Let me see here. Pony Cordero says it was a pun, you bumbling fools. Let's see.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Fool!
I always thought it was a fumbling pool.
Fool!
You fool! Anyway, big thanks to everybody who came out and watched the stream tonight. I hope you had fun. Gentlemen, did we learn anything tonight?
Nope.
A lot of it's attention by Hasbro. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's Hasbro that needs to learn something from this.
Exactly.
Learn how to not drive money away.
Exactly. Zeus, I need your icon to point at Hasbro a little bit harder. They're not, you're not pointing hard enough. They're not yet convinced.
Don't
You're supposed to be... Go ahead.
don't jail the criminals. Put them to work.
I mean, don't we do both in America?
But not like this. I mean, like when you catch people growing good weed, grow them for medical reasons. When you catch people making good animations, Hasbro should hire them.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, give them a job. It's like, come on, guys.
Yep.
I'm looking at you, Jan Animations.
But more importantly, did you guys have fun talking about video games tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Was this conversation everything you hoped it would be, DJ?
Everything and more.
Good. That's all that matters to me. And of course, I hope, like I said, that everybody else that tuned in to watch us tonight had fun watching us. If you would like to get on the show, I'd love to have you. We just need you on the Discord for as little as $1 a month, where you can make suggestions for the Brony Debates topics, games we play on Friday Night Fights. If you want to see more live streams that we're doing, next Saturday, I believe, is it right, Invisibrony? Next Saturday we're doing poker, aren't we?
On the 19th, yes. So
Yes.
Whoever has not heard about this, thank you for... I forgot to mention it. We're for BabsCon, if you've ever been to that convention, or even if you have not. As you know, 2020 has been a plague on a lot of things, especially conventions, live interactions, all of those things. And one thing that has really suffered are the charity events that are held at these events, like the charity auctions and all of that. Like, all that money has been lost, and everyone's suffering. So we are trying to just do a little good this holiday season for several charities, and we don't know how to divide it. So we're having a poker game. myself, Brony, Fiora the Tank Girl, my friend Skeptical, who is the president and board member for the Beast. I forget the actual acronym, but for a Canadian furry Brony convention, they run a bunch of conventions, and Silver Quill and Brony. So it's going to be a great thing. There is a website I'll link later. Please, if you have even $1, $5, throw it into the pot. Like, we're just trying to raise money for a lot of different good causes, and we're just going to divide it up as best we can amongst the players. So,
all right, sounds good. So we're doing that next Saturday at what time?
That has yet to be determined. I did mention it in the server today, so if anyone would answer me, I'd be happy to answer your question, Brony.
Oh, well, I got home from work and came straight here.
Oh, what's that? Oh, it's, oh shit.
Yes. All right, so here's what you're going to do, guys. You're going to go follow Invisibrony's YouTube channel and his Twitter for updates on the charity poker stream that's happening next Saturday.
December the 19th, this 2020.
Yep, December the 19th. And let's see, what else are we doing? Tomorrow night, I'll be on Princess Heather Blossom's channel reading the chat for Chaos and Crocheting at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Next Friday, we're doing another Friday Night Fights at, is it next? No, it's actually next Sunday.
It's not going to be the Saturday, because guess what? We're doing the poker game on the 19th.
So on Sunday, next Sunday, the 20th, we're going to be doing Sunday SmackDown, Chance of Rain or something like that, Risk of Rain, on Sunday SmackDown at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope to see you all there for all of those streams. And let's help out some good causes here. So with that being said, you all have a great night and a lovely weekend, and we will see you all very soon. Say goodnight, everyone.
Noff.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh,
Good
well
night.
sound clipped. Well sound clipped.
And we're clear.